Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Ready or not, because I am going to be decorating and getting my house ready for fall today. I'm in my storage room because that's where I keep all of our seasonal decor. I have actually one bin down lower that's for fall stuff, and then another one up there. So I'm going to be pulling those bins down, going through my decorations, taking down the summer decor, and just doing some tidying up and refreshing and fitting in a little bit of a recipe if I have some time. So if you're ready for it, let's get right into it. So now that I have both of my fall bins pulled out, I'm just gonna go through them. I realized really quickly that half of my fall decor is actual fall decor and the other half is kind of more Halloween themed. So I'm going to load up all of the just plain fall decor, all of the pumpkins and basic things like that into the smaller bin so I can carry it upstairs a little bit easier. And then I'm gonna put everything that I'm not planning on bringing upstairs, all of the Halloween stuff, in the larger bin and leave that down here in the basement. Out loud in the darkness. The first area I really wanted to start with is the entryway. I don't have a lot of fall decor because I had this stuff in my apartment. So I had an apartment's worth of fall decor, and now we live in a house. I didn't decorate last year for fall because we moved September, like in the middle of September, and I was in my third trimester of pregnancy. We were mostly just focused on moving into the house rather than decorating it for a specific season. So this is the first time I'm decorating this house for fall, and I want to start with my favorite areas and the areas that I was excited to decorate for, and then if I had extra decor I could do it in some other places as well. You saw the first thing that I did was switch out the stems that I had in that white pitcher vase. I had some eucalyptus in there, and while that would be great for fall as well, I did have a fall floral that I always put in this pitcher. That's one of my favorite things to switch out. I have different florals for each season, so I have a different one for winter as well. So I swapped that out, and then I had some mini garlands I was playing around with, and I actually liked putting two of them together. So this little one here that I have right now that's kind of wiry lights up. I got it from the Target Dollar Spot a while back, and this other one that has wooden leaves on it I also got from the Target Dollar Spot, and they are kind of smaller looking, so I liked the idea of putting them together. That makes it look a tiny bit more substantial. Still I can't ignore the pain. It's the only thing that tells me I'm breathing. I also decided I didn't love the candle that I put there, and I wanted to bring in more of the black and white that I had in the entryway, so I put a black and white candle with a black little pumpkin there. And here is the after of what that space looks like. And I know I said that I was going to make a fall recipe if I had time, and I am gonna bake a little bit at the end of the video, but I couldn't help myself to make some homemade pumpkin spice coffee creamer. So we are going to make that together on the stove top, and it actually lasts in the refrigerator for about a week. So I'm starting by adding 1 can of coconut milk, and I didn't measure all of this stuff, so I'm gonna try and guesstimate how much I put in there, but a can of coconut milk, a couple of tablespoons of pumpkin puree, followed by a maybe teaspoon or so of pumpkin pie spice, a splash of vanilla extract, a tablespoon or maybe 2 of maple syrup. Mix it all together, and as you start to get that boiling, I added a few cinnamon sticks in there just to add in even more cinnamon flavor. That pumpkin pie spice will have cinnamon in there, but I let it boil with a few cinnamon sticks in there, and then you're going to want to let it cool fully because it will actually kind of get a little bit thicker that way. So while that was getting to a boil, I brewed my coffee, and I just used my Keurig there and filled up that coffee cup, let the coffee creamer cool a bit, and then I just grabbed a measuring cup just to scoop it out a little bit easier, not that I'm measuring it, and popped the top on and tried it, and it was delicious. Okay, back to the decorating. I'm up in my laundry room here grabbing a few more seasonal items that I didn't think about when I first started. I have some seasonal items that aren't in the basement with all the decor because I keep them with the items that they belong with. So I grabbed some soaps. That's a great way to decorate, as well as candles. They're functional and they bring in a little bit of seasonal flair and scent. So I'm going through all of my candles, just grabbing anything that's fall scented. Even if I don't end up using all of them, I wanted to have all of the options downstairs with me, and then I can bring up ones that I don't use upstairs if I have extras. I'm bringing my fall bin around with me, pulling out things that I used to decorate my apartment kitchen with. I think I might kind of create the same things that I've done in the past. So this bowl I always switch out for something seasonal. I had a zested lemon candle in there with a springy greenery. So I wiped that out, cleaned it off, and put my little mini cake stand in there, followed by some pumpkin filler, and then an autumn candle there in the middle. And I think it's important to mention that you'll see a lot of these like clean and decorate with me videos on YouTube, and people bringing out all of their decor for the season, doing a lot of shopping hauls of new decor. And well, I love going out and getting new stuff, and I think I probably might still get some more things just because, again, I only have a little bit because I had stuff for our apartment and there's a few other spaces. I might want to bring in some other touches of fall because I do like seasonal decor. I wanted to point out the fact that I didn't purchase anything to start out with, and I think that is the way to go. I know it can be tempting to rush out to the stores the second they roll out their new seasonal items, but you don't really know what you need until you set up what you have. So evaluate your space first and make some intentional purchases if that is something that you're interested in doing or is in the budget for you. So you'll see that I swapped out those lemons and added some pumpkins in there. Really easy switches like this makes it kind of a no-brainer to change out seasonal decor, just like swapping out those stems that I had. I'm using the exact same vase, some of the same filler in there, and then just switching the lemons for the pumpkins. I have done this little arrangement so many times in my old apartments before, but I like the way that these things look together, so I just left it as it was, moved my menu board over to the other side because I felt like it balanced it out a little bit better with that big sign, and then I had to add a little mini gourd over there just to add some fall to the other side. Then a swap out of my dish soap and hand soap. Easy switch, like I said, that doesn't add a lot of clutter, is using dish soap and hand soap that are scented and look like they're seasonal decor. Mrs. Meyer's is my absolute favorite for that. Now, the next space I wanted to bring in some decor was the living room, and you'll see we still don't have artwork in here, so it looks so empty and weird, and I think a lot of this decor maybe isn't my favorite. Like that little autumn sign is pretty small for our space. It looked great in my apartment, but it's kind of small here. But while we don't have artwork, I'm just going to put a few things here and not worry about it too much. And then hopefully during fall, we'll get some artwork figured out and maybe I'll switch things around a little bit. Not sure. And then I wanted to show this pumpkin how it's soft and squishy because you can tell we have a baby, and I want that to be something that he is not going to hurt himself with or not break. For the autumn treat, it's not pumpkin flavored or apple flavored or anything like that. I wanted to keep it really simple and light because it's not quite fall yet, so I wanted to do some cinnamon flavor, which I think is a good transitional flavor. So I'm making some cinnamon sugar Raga muffins, and for this recipe, I'm starting with all of the dry ingredients there. So that's 3 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Then I mixed all of that stuff together, and you're going to need 10 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter. I'm just chopping it up into little tiny pieces there because you're gonna add it into your dough and mix it together with your fingers. You could probably use one of those pastry mixers if you have one, but the recipe actually does say to use your fingers and squish it between your fingers so they become like flower petals almost. So I just chopped it into little pieces to make that a little bit easier for me and got to mixing with my hands. Once that's mixed, you're gonna add in a cup of buttermilk, and you'll see I'm making my own buttermilk here with a cup of water and 4 tablespoons of this buttermilk powder. I've shared it before, but some of you didn't know that you could do this and that powdered buttermilk exists, which is great if you are a baker, but you don't always have buttermilk on hand. That powdered stuff lasts a long time and you don't have to keep throwing out all of your unused and wasted buttermilk. So I just made my own, tossed it in there, and mixed it around. Now this is the whole dough. It is almost like a biscuit dough. I have never made these before. I've never made Raga muffins before, but I guess it's a great recipe if you have leftover biscuit dough, if you make biscuits a lot, which I don't. So you'll see I'm obviously starting from scratch here, but I'm kneading the dough together a little bit in the bowl just to make sure I have all of the little pieces that were left behind, and then flouring my work surface, giving it some more kneading. And then you are going to roll it out, and it's kind of going to end up being a little bit like a cinnamon roll, but again, with that biscuit dough. So it's going to be different. There's not all that butter that you put on for a normal cinnamon roll, and then there's no icing or anything either. So roll this out to about 16 by 11, a long rectangle. I actually had to take off the ends of my rolling pin to get it a little bit flatter and longer because it wasn't quite getting to the right measurement, and kept rolling and actually measuring. I do keep a ruler in my kitchen exactly for this purpose because so often when I'm rolling dough or something, it does have a measurement and I want to try and get it as close to accurate as possible.
The light that flickers will blow away the sight, and all that blossomed.
Once your dough is the proper shape and size, take 1/4 of a cup of sugar with a teaspoon of cinnamon and mix that together, and then you can sprinkle it straight over your dough. I just brushed it around a little bit more with my hand to make sure it got all the way to the edges, and then you are going to get to rolling. So go from the long side and start rolling that way. Keep it as tight as possible. You want to keep all of the cinnamon sugar in there, and even though I felt like I kept it pretty tight, some of it did end up falling out as I cut them open. I just cut off the ends to make it a little bit cleaner and then cut in half, then each half into thirds, and then each of those pieces into another half. So you should end up with 12 equal pieces. And then once you have the 12 equal pieces, you can grab a standard size muffin tin because there are 10 wells there, and you're going to put each of your little pieces into one of the wells and preheat your oven if you haven't already. I guess I should have said that at the beginning, to 425, but you're gonna stick them in the freezer for 15 minutes. Once you get them out of the freezer, brush them with some buttermilk, top them with a little bit more sugar, just plain sugar on top, and then it should take about 15 to 20 minutes for them to be nice and puffed and golden brown. And that is it. These things were so delicious. I hope you give this recipe a try, or the pumpkin pie creamer. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, I will see you guys later.
Autumn comes too soon.